A presidential candidate in Brazil is under fire after saying the country needs to stand up against gay people. Levi Fidelix said homosexual people should seek psychological help far away from the population. He has less than 1% of the support from potential voters. He also said it was ugly seeing gay couples walk by Sao Paulo's main avenue. In Brazil, a number of powerful families run much of the country. The question is whether they can carry over that influence to the next administration, with so many Brazilians calling for reform at this week's elections. Paulo Cabral reports.
When crowds took to the streets in mass protest last year, there was one thing they all shared: the demand for reform in Brazilian politics. One big obstacle stands in the way: Brazil's entrenched oligarchs. Some of these powerful families can trace the beginnings of their billion-dollar fortunes back to colonial times. Politics in Brazil is still largely family business, particularly in the country's poor northeastern countryside. In many areas, having a well-known family name is like a logo for a successful consumer brand. Having a recognized name is half the battle in securing a parliament seat. Another obstacle is inertia. Research by the anti-corruption NGO Transparência Brasil shows that at the time of voting, people stick to tradition. The survey shows that more than 40% of the members of the Chamber of Deputies and over 60% of the senators elected in the last two elections had family connections to other politicians.
Most of those politicians, they control a lot of media outlets, such as TV stations, radio stations, and local newspaper. So they can use all of this in their favor as well. Just to give you a brief example, if we take a look to the president of the Chamber of Deputies in Brazil and to the president of the Senate here in Brazil, we will see that they're both from strong political clans from the northeast of Brazil.
Federal Deputy Ricardo Tripoli has been in politics for 30 years, like his brother Roberto Tripoli, who is a councilman in São Paulo. Both are running for office in these elections.
The general feeling is that Brazil needs reform, to find new ways of doing politics. But this is something that needs some time to happen. It's not immediate. But I think this may be the key moment to start this process.
Powerful families that become political dynasties can be found in many countries, but many analysts here express concern that Brazil's wealthy elite may have acquired too much power. When Brazilians cast ballots for their preferred candidates, the question this year is whether they will also be voting for reform. Paulo Cabral, CCTV, São Paulo.